Everything matters. How we wake up, how we dress, how we eat, how we meet, how we train, how we practice, how we rehab, how we recover, how we treat one another, how we treat everyone.
Second half, that's our style. That's what we represent. Showing that fight, showing your urgency, showing the effort, the technique, and the violence that we stand for, guys.
Welcome to Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh. Here is your host, Eric Allen.
Jets Game Day is finally here. Coming up, we're going to hear from Cynthia Freeland, Brian Baldy, Ethan Greenberg, and Caroline Hendershot. But we'll start with Bart Scott and Eric Coleman. Bart Scott flexing. He is ready for the 2022 season. Do you think the Jets are?
Yeah, you're talking about me flex. I tell you what, Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh flexed all offseason. They went out and had tremendous, acquisitions in free agency, then topped that off with a tremendous draft. Probably one of the best drafts in all the NFL. And you bring in a lot of depth at positions, and you bring in a lot of youth and exuberance, and I think it's going to pay dividends. All the ingredients are here for a successful and beautiful season.
All the ingredients are here. Joe Douglas says he likes that mix of youthful players and veterans in the locker room.
Yeah, it's great. You have the veteran knowledge and experience with the youthful exuberance. And I like the mix, especially on defense. When you look at a guy like C.J. Mosley, the captain of the ship, Quinnen Williams as well, and then you add in some Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson. These guys are young, they're hungry, and it's going to lead to a lot of success for this Jets defense.
Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. The Jets are going to be counting on some young, skill position players like Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore enter in year two, Michael Carter enter in year two, and you totally revamp that tight end room.
Yeah, but it all starts and stops with that offensive line. Fortifying the fronts, winning within the trenches. That has always been a staple of what Joe Douglas has wanted to do here. It's going to help the running game. It's going to help those weapons that you go out and you went out and acquired to be able to have time to go down the field and make big plays, explosive plays for Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, who's ever at the quarterback position. And I'm excited about what they're able to do in the trenches. I love that they're strong up the middle. When you think about Thompson, you think about Vera Tucker, who is set to have a breakout season and announce to the world that he's an upper echelon interior lineman.
Bart, you're a Michigan guy. How about the number 4 overall selection in the draft? Ahmad Sauce Gardner. Robert Saleh was asked about his confidence level on a 1 to 10. He said 11.
I tell you what, it's an adjective that you hear about Detroit or Michigan-bred athletes. To come out of the streets of Detroit, to come from the east side of Detroit, you have to be sure about yourself. Survival of the fittest. And they prepare you for life in the NFL and life in general very early on. Everything in Detroit is earned. And Sauce Gardner was a part of that culture. And his confidence is just knowing that he's already done the work. He's put in the work, so the results will will be seen on the field. I can't wait to see if when this young man gets started. He should be a sneaky pick, not even a sneaky pick, for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Okay, so he's high on Sauce, but he's also high on Breece Hall. He thinks the Jets might have the Defensive Rookie of the Year and the Offensive Rookie of the Year. What do you think?
Why not? Why not? I mean, you talk about Sauce Gardner, a guy who came in number 4 overall, and he still wants to learn. He came in, the first thing he said, I can't wait to learn from these veterans. He's continued to grow as a player. I think things are going to continue to blossom for him. He has that attitude, that mentality that he wants to get better. And on the other side of the ball, Breece Hall, why not? I mean, this guy can run between the tackles. He can run on the perimeter. He does a great job of catching the ball out of the backfield. You might be looking at 2 Rookie of the Years. There's going to be an argument for both of these players if they can stay healthy.
Listen, not to slight you, Garrett Wilson. We're not leaving you out either. No. We know you're in the running as well. But you talk about a Robert Saleh-led team, and all gas, no brakes. It starts with running the football and setting a physical identity. This team should be nasty. It should be pissed off for what happened last year. This defense should be looking to get the respect that they deserve. Now they're together. Everybody's healthy. They have tremendous depth, and they're going to be able to rotate the NASCAR package. When you think about this defensive line, it's not just 4 deep. It's not just 8 deep. This thing goes at least 10 deep, and they should be able to, everybody should earn the right and compete to play. Iron sharpens iron, EA.
All right, we got a lot of depth on this show. Coming up, we'll go one-on-one with Jets head coach Robert Saleh, but first, here's Cynthia Freeland.
The Jets offense is going to look different in many ways this season, but one bright spot that carries through from last season into this year is Braxton Berrios, specifically his ability to earn yards after the catch. Even though it was a preseason game, Berrios reminded us of his ability to leverage exceptional acceleration and make defenders miss, turning a screen pass into a 21-yard touchdown against the Giants. In 2021, 59.6% of Berrios' yards came after the catch. That's 257 of his 431 total yards. Computer vision shows that his speed increased after the catch at the 9th fastest rate in the league. Last season, PFF ranked Berrios as the 8th most valuable receiver in the red zone with a 73.9 grade. In this crucial area of the field, Berrios caught 6 of the 8 targets thrown his way and saw the end zone twice. This season, look for Berrios to increase his yards per reception average, which was 9.4 yards per catch in 2021. Why? 2 reasons. The first is his individual yak and speed potential. The second is because the overall receiving corps had an increase in production, which means more potential average yards of separation and greater odds that Berrios will be able to take just a few steps, meaning he gets to full speed before defenders have a chance to make contact.
Now, time for Inside the Walls, presented by Microsoft Surface.
Let's talk about light and darkness as the season approaches. First, light, positive vibes only. Where did that originate?
We were going over self-scout, and there was a lot of complaining about certain things, and this guy may have made a mistake here or a bad play call here. And I was like, hey guys, there's a lot of complaining in here. There's a lot of negativity. Keep it positive and find the answer. So it became a running joke, which turned into, let's get on a shirt and get it out to the guys. Keep things positive. Ignore the noise, regardless of what hits us from a negativity standpoint. Let's just keep a positive mindset and keep the main thing, which is getting better every day.
Do you think the team and the organization did a good job of adopting that mantra throughout the offseason?
It's easy in the offseason. The regular season is going to be a whole new challenge, but everything's always positive in 32 cities where everyone is very excited about the season. Everyone's got excitement. Everyone's 0-0 undefeated and with aspirations of world championships. But it's the season when adversity hits and there's negativity and you got outside noise that's trying to creep in. Can you keep it positive? Can you keep the main thing, and can you stay focused on what we're trying to accomplish, which is go to bed better than we woke up and see how good we can get.
All right, so take me into the darkness now. What does the 60% mean?
So that's, Navy SEALs. I'm a big fan of the Navy SEALs and really all our armed forces. But I was reading something on the Navy SEALs, and they were talking about that the fight or flight mechanism of the human body or mind triggers when you've accomplished 40% of what you've accomplished. So when you're in activity of what you're capable of. And at 40%, everyone's fight or flight kicks in. Now, some people's 40% is greater than other people's 40%, but it's still 40%. And once that kicks in, that's your body and mind basically telling you that you've got 60% more to give. And in order to get through that barrier and in order to access that 60%, you've got to get to a dark place and you've got to be willing to go further than other people are unwilling to go. And that's the mindset.
You're always positive. A lot of times you have a smile on your face, but you are an insane competitor. With that being said, you talked about the Navy SEALs. How much have you taken from that approach over the years?
A lot. You just look at from a mindset standpoint, a lot of cool discussions with Tyler Conklin. His brother's, God willing, he's so close to graduating the Navy SEAL program here in the next couple of months, which is awesome. And, I'm just fascinated by their mindset. We get to play a sport where they're fighting for lives, right? Mm-hmm. And so it is different, but at the same time, there's so much to pull from because at the end of the day, the Navy SEALs are one of the greatest organizations in the world in terms of teamwork and how to build a team of individuals who come from all walks of life and throw them onto a team, and all of a sudden they're just, that bond is as tight as can possibly be. That's like how can you pull that into your workspace, whether it's football or even a Fortune 500 company. I always think it's fascinating.
You got a couple former Ravens here in C.J. Mosley and Joe Flacco. How much can those two help you, not only in week one, but throughout the season?
Just their veteran presence. That's part of the mixture of veterans. Joe and CJ, they've been there, done that. Joe's a world champion MVP, and he's made as much money as you can make in this business. So it's all, he's here because he loves the game. CJ is an ultimate competitor where he still, in his mind, has a lot to prove. And they're quiet, but the way they prepare, the way they come in, go about their business, their interaction with their teammates, when they speak, people listen. And so just having those two guys, especially at those two positions where they're both quarterbacks of their side of the ball, is a really good thing.
Without giving away your game plan, what do you got to do against Lamar Jackson? He's one of the most electrifying performers in this league.
Oh yeah, no, he's hard to contain. He's going to get his. He's faster than everybody on the football field, and doesn't matter what team you play. He's got a tremendous arm. He can throw. He's got great weapons to throw to. He's got an unbelievable run game and a run game designed that they can work behind. So it's tough for everybody when you go against a team like that. It's essentially Wildcat, and they do as good a job as anybody.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife, the official insurance company of the New York Jets.
Welcome back to Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh. Eric Allen in the studio with the fellas, Bart Scott and Eric Coleman. We just heard from Robert Saleh. What do you think about his approach? He's a big fan of the Navy SEALs, Bart.
I tell you what, that's some great people to model yourself of. You talk about what they're able to do mentally and physically. You talk about, football is all about getting comfortable being uncomfortable, right? And you only get growth and you learn more from your failures than you actually do from your successes. Last year the Jets had a lot of failures, so they should have a lot of success if they apply what they've learned and continue to take the next step forward. If you're getting better every single day, at the end of the day, when you look back, you are going to realize you have come a long way. And you have the right leadership, you have the right type of guys, the right character within the locker room, that this team should be built to grow together for the near future. And we're going to see results instantaneously, but also in the future.
Don't let Robert Saleh's smile fool you, because he wants these Jets to go to a dark place and push themselves to achieve even more.
Absolutely, and there's a reason why, the pressure makes diamonds. You have to come out of a tough environment. You have to get used to working in those tough environments to thrive when the lights shine. And Robert Saleh has done a great job of setting the tone, creating a culture of hard workers, no excuses, ultimate effort and teamwork that's going to help this team thrive. Whenever there's some adversity, these guys are locked in together. It's a family. There's no hiding about it, and that's why this team is going to be successful.
Well, who's successful? Brian Baldy. He's going to take a look at the Jets' upcoming opponent, today's opponent. That's the Baltimore Ravens and their defense.
This is Baldy's Breakdown.
Brian Baldy here for Jets Game Day, and I want to take a look at the Ravens secondary. They're healthy this year, and they're led by their two starting corners, Marcus Peters and Marlon Humphrey. Joe Flacco and the Jets offense are going to see a very deep and talented secondary of the Baltimore Ravens. Starting at the bottom with number 24, Marcus Peters, who missed all of last season with an injury. But he can play man or he can play zone. And over the last 6 years, he's got a total of 31 interceptions. And with the balls in his hands, he's electric. You have got to account for Marcus Peters, because he will throw traps out there and bait you to throw the ball at him. Now, on the other side is Marlon Humphrey. Marlon Humphrey can line up anywhere. Here he is in the slot against Jamar Chase. And on this play right here, his ability to just play man, straight man coverage, whether he's off or on, and adjust to the ball in the air, he's elite. So you got Peters and you got Humphrey. And then at safety, you've got Chuck Clark, number 36. Chuck Clark can tackle, he can cover tight ends. Here he is, covering Darren Waller right here, down the seam. He almost comes up with this interception. So you've got Darren Waller right there. And then, to cap it off right here, they went out and got themselves Marcus Williams. Marcus Williams comes from the New Orleans Saints, number 43, the far safety right here. But he's got range and playmaking ability. He's a true free safety, loves to play the middle of the field, and can make plays like this on the ball. So you're going to see an excellent secondary right there from the Ravens this weekend, and the Jets have got to be prepared for it, because they're talented and they're ball hogs. They can take the ball away if you're not careful.
Fill up your cups. The morning tea is coming up next, followed by final thoughts on today's matchup with the Ravens.
Hey, Ethan, your excited?
For game day?
Yes.
Let's go.
I'm so excited. Finally here. You know, Joe Flacco officially QB1 for week 1.
And 2. And 3, because Robert Saleh said the earliest that Zach Wilson will return. Week 4 at Pittsburgh. They want to make sure that he's 100%.
Right. Just checking all the boxes. But doesn't it feel like a Hollywood story? Joe Flacco facing the old team.
Of course. The NFL loves to do this, I feel like. Somehow they have a way in this, but Joe Flacco playing the team that he won a Super Bowl with, drafted by in the first round in 2008. I mean, what's better than that? But you know the Jets are confident. And the 37-year-old Flacco,
Right.
not the young buck he was with Baltimore.
Exactly. But you know, the biggest question I have is, are we going to see some of those key players for the Ravens return on Sunday that haven't played in a while?
There's a couple of them, 3 of them that I'm looking at. Marcus Peters, the All-Pro corner, the All-Pro left tackle, Ronnie Stanley, and J.K. Dobbins. They're all practicing in some way, shape, or form, but will they play on Sunday? I guess we'll find out. But you know the Ravens probably want them to be 100%. We'll see what happens.
Right. Don't want to push it too soon.
Yeah. You know, we just talked about the injuries. The injury bug bit the Ravens last year, continues to bite in the preseason. Poe, the mascot, done for the year. Bad drumming.
I know. The ACL
It's
tear
tough to see.
It's never great.
Especially in the preseason.
I know. Those preseason injuries, man. Well, I guess that's the T.
Yeah. Happy game day.
For all the talk about Joe Flacco and Zach Wilson this week, the Jets have to contend with one of the most electrifying performers in the National Football League, Lamar Jackson. What is the plan?
I mean, the plan is you have to contain him. You have to set edges. You have to make Lamar Jackson beat you as a passer, not as a runner. And he's a big part of this run game. So you're going to have to make sure that once they try and change the math, you're able to be accountable, make sure there's no guys on the ground, and make sure you rally to the ball.
E, do you spy him, and how do you take away his favorite target, Mark Andrews?
You definitely spy him on third down, but you take away his target with eye discipline from the linebackers and the safeties. You have to make sure you're reading your keys. The way that they create chunk plays are all the linebackers and safeties are keying on Lamar Jackson to threaten them with that run. Mark Andrews is running up the seam, and he hits him on that seam route. Eye discipline is going to be key for these safeties.
X factor offensively or defensively for the Jets?
Well, I'm going to go defensively. Of course, I'm going to go with a linebacker. I'm going to go with Quan Alexander because you talk about to stop Lamar Jackson, you talk about eye discipline. You're going to have to stop him on a second level. The linebackers aren't going to be accounted for. When he scrambles, you're going to have to make sure you get him down. You have to make sure you use the sideline as your 12th defender. And you have to make sure that, if he does throw the ball, batted balls change games. Lamar Jackson struggled for the first time in his career last year in turning the football over. A lot of interceptions in a short stint. You're going to have to remind them that it's going to be a little bit more of the same.
No Hollywood Brown this year for Lamar Jackson. Tips and overthrows, got to get those. Eric Coleman, what do you say?
My X factor is Michael Carter. I think running the football is going to be key for the Jets offense. Keeping those third downs to a minimum, third and manageable, is going to help Joe Flacco move the chains, let this offense continue drives, and give that defense a much-needed break from chasing around Lamar Jackson.
The 2022 New York Jets season is upon us. Enjoy Jets-Ravens, everybody.